I was able to play with guys that would set me up, tic-tac-toe, we would triangle, we would cycle, we clicked, there's no look passes, and it was nice to have a team that just had good chemistry on and off the ice.
What's up, hockey players? Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Review Podcast. I'm here in Santa Ana, California with Tyler Maxwell. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. So let's talk about your career. You've been around for a while. Grew up here in California, going to the dub, then pro overseas and back here. So we want to hear your story. I know you have a lot of great insights. You're a coach now. And yeah, we want to hear your career and what was your story growing up here like? So how did you get into hockey in Southern California?
Yeah, growing up, both sides of my family were from hockey towns. My mom being from St. Louis, my dad being from Toronto, both transplants to Southern California. I grew up with a stick in my hands and rollerblades, ice skates, baseball glove, soccer cleats, football helmet, everything. Just sports was my life, and hockey became my number one passion, and I've never looked back.
So you grew up playing for the Junior Kings, right? For most when you played AAA, right? That was
the last season of AAA was Junior Kings. Before that, LA Hockey Club, LA Selects.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and then growing up playing. So you grew up playing pretty much all sports though. Originally, it wasn't just hockey. It was like other.
Yeah, I mean, hockey was my number one. Like, I loved hockey. I also loved baseball. Obviously, roller hockey was good cross training, and it was literally just ice rink to roller rink to baseball field in rotation growing up, and it's the same way right now with my kids and with my family.
So what age did you really specialize in just playing hockey? When did you start getting really serious about it, you would say?
When I was a freshman in high school, I had made the baseball team, and the coach kind of laid it out there saying like, hey, you got to choose either hockey or baseball, and that's when I chose ice hockey to be my number one. And
so then after the Kings, I know you got picked up to go play, you got scouted to play, you got called up to play for Des Moines in the USHL. What was that jump like? I know if going from AAA, you were 15, 16 when that made that jump. How'd that come about?
Yeah, I actually got called up to Des Moines when I was 15 and a half. It was January when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, I'm an April birthday. So being 15 and a half, I was like the only player to have a cage on. I think 16 was the age to have a visor. So I just switched my Junior Kings chrome cage over to the
chrome dome?
I sported a chrome dome in the USHL.
Oh, I bet that didn't go well. That was
Yeah, and I had a 21-year-old roommate driving me around in the snow, Nielsen Archibald, and he really showed me the ways in Des Moines, Iowa, and it was a good experience. So I was there for about a month or two.
But like that jump though, what was that jump like from playing 16 AAA to big boy?
Actually, I was playing 18 AAA.
Oh, 18. Okay. What was that jump like though from AAA to the USHL?
It was a big jump. I barely got any ice time, and I think I had 0 points in 4 games, but it was a good experience practicing, just seeing like how everything was going to be. But ultimately, I chose to change my direction and play in the WHL.
What made you choose that route? Because I know it's, at least back then, the rules changed now, but it was like you were kind of taking a risk foregoing, playing college. What led you to make that decision? Like, what was it?
What was enticing was just the pro schedule. The organizations were super professional in terms of travel, game schedules, 72 games, and everything was very comparable to the NHL, and it was a fast track. So I just wanted to play at the highest level I could. And I thought that was major junior.
What would you say there's a big difference between the dub and the USHL, or were they very comparable? What would you say?
I think it's comparable. You have more high-end talent and draft picks in major junior. But in terms of the pace, the physicality, it's very comparable.
You would say, okay. And then you played for, your first team was Everett, right?
First team was Everett. Another thing with Major Junior that's enticing is that on any given night, you can have 30 NHL scouts in the building. You play against Vancouver in the Pacific Coliseum or Oil Kings in Rexall, you could have 30 NHL scouts watching you. So that's another thing that's a huge draw.
Yeah, and so then how do you think that, like, your time in the WHL, like, what was it like playing in those arenas, those organizations? What was you think the few key takeaways that got you prepared to play pro hockey?
The WHL was also one of the most physical leagues, one of the most defensive leagues, one of the most systematic leagues. So you learned different systems, different styles of play that were comparable to the NHL as well. So right away, you're diving into video sessions, off-ice workouts, conditioning. That's my cat. And, it really does prepare you for the next level.
So then, I guess you went from Everett to the Oil Kings, right?
You're right.
And what was that shift like? I know you spent a few seasons at Everett and then the Oil Kings. What was how was that change like? Was it a big difference? Was it a kind of a culture shock between the two teams?
Yeah, first word that comes to mind is just culture. But Edmonton being a new organization, they were there. I was there during their 5th season, but they had built something very strong in those 5 years. Bob Green, the GM, his goal in year 1 was to win a championship by year 5. So the time I landed there was year 5, and they were primed to win. So when I got there, I was part of a 27-game win streak. Like right away, everything was just clicking. And but in terms of an organization, we had the same owner as the Oilers. We got dressed down the hall from the Oilers. We had a great locker room, workout facility. Everything was top notch. So, the team we had, the goalies, the defense, the forwards, we were just deep. And it was nice going to the rink knowing that you had a very good chance of winning this game. And that was our mentality. So it was pretty special to be a part of.
And then you came in pretty much as kind of like an impact player, because you came right away, made an impact on the team, right? And you were put on first power play, right?
Yeah,
you were very
first line, first power play right away, which was amazing. And our line, Michael St. Croix, Dylan Ruck. Dylan Ruck ended up getting a shoulder injury. We had Christian Pelch. Our team was just stacked. We had draft picks after draft picks. Griffin Reinhart. We had Mark Pesic. We had Lauren Brossois in net. Tristan Jarry was our backup as a 16-year-old. So we were just stacked.
Damn.
It was like one guy after another.
Yeah, and you played out. That was your age out season there, right?
Yeah, I was 21, so
you played.
I did have I had a great start in Everett. I think 14 games or 19 games. I had I want to say 14 goals in 19. So I was scoring goals. I think I had 1 or 2 assists.
You were just a pure goal scorer.
I was trying to set people up, and it wasn't working out.
You were just
I was dishing.
You were just oops, I scored another.
I was dishing.
Yeah, no, I this
I like to have even stats. I like to have even assists, even goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's my goal. I want to be a good disher and a good shooter. But at the end of the day, I'm a shooter, and I know that.
Yeah, I would shoot first.
I brought that to Edmonton, and I was able to play with guys that would set me up, tic-tac-toe. We would triangle, we would cycle, we clicked. There's no-look passes, and it was nice to have a team that just had good chemistry on and off the ice.
And then, so then from Major Junior, you went to overseas to go play pro, right? That was your first stop after your...
Yeah, it was during the lockout. So I could have stayed in North America. My agent kind of knew that the lockout was coming. Everyone knew, so... I don't know why, but I signed in Europe, and it was a great experience, as a 21-year-old playing in Salzburg in Austria in the Champions League. So,
and then from there, you went to Italy, right? You changed teams, or was it the same?
From there, I came back here and played in North America for Utah,
The Grizzlies.
the Grizzlies,
Grizzlies, yeah.
Bakersfield, the
Yep.
Condors, Ontario, the Reign.
Like a short stint there, right?
Yeah,
Got called
a week in Ontario.
A week. It was just a week.
It wasn't supposed to be a week, but it ended up being a week. I was promised some playoff time, but when the ECH is, if it's the ECHL, you have a playoff roster that you have to submit. They have to leave room for the AHL guys that might be coming down, that might be eliminated from their playoffs. So they saved a spot for Colton Yellowhorn, who was like a legend. He got called up to Manchester, the Monarchs. So I had close ties with the Ontario Reign because I had a contract with LA when I was 18. So, and I was training in El Segundo every summer. So they knew like that I was available, but it didn't work out. And then, so I was kind of looking for a contract, waited, and ended up signing in Italy.
Oh, I see. That's when you
I
signed it.
went back to Europe, kind of rebuild my resume because I had been on 4 teams in 1 year, which doesn't look very good.
Right.
You know, teams are like, why is this 4 teams?
Yeah.
As a 21-year-old? Like, that's not good. So I went to Italy. It was a blessing. Played for Mike Flanagan. We were allowed 10 imports. It was like all WHL guys, OHL guys. I learned a lot there. Had a great season. Played in the Supercoppa, the Italian Cup, Champions League, and kind of rebuilt myself. And somehow my agent got me a tryout back in North America, got me a contract with Stockton. So I was Stockton's first summer signing, and they had promised me a tryout with the big club, which was New York Islanders.
Right.
So I got to try out with New York Islanders pretty much as a practice player. Like, let's be honest.
I see, yeah.
And got sent down past the AHL all the way down to the ECHL. So that was,
Must have been kind of tough to hear that.
yeah, they kind of put like guys in a different room and like, you're going here, you're going here. But my son was 1 year old at the time. And I was kind of happy to be closer to home. They told me if I ripped it up that I would get called up to the AHL. So that was an incentive for me to score, which I did. I had a great season with Stockton. Didn't end up getting the call up, but like that was a good ECHL year for me.
And now the ECHL, because I know you spent a lot of time in the ECHL. That's a little bit of time in the AHL, right? For just the Reign?
Well, there's cups of coffee in the AHL, Bridgeport.
Right, yeah. And what was the difference in play between those two leagues, you would say?
The AHL is called the Jungle,
Okay.
They're one step from the NHL, and they're playing for a lot more money. They don't get their rent paid for. There's a lot more on the line. So I feel like in every level, like the tensions are higher, the expectations are higher, the pressure is higher, the pace is higher, and the knowledge is higher. So NHL is a certain level, AHL is another, ECHL is a great level, but you get experience, and every different level has a different speed, different player IQ, different hockey IQ. So that's kind of what you experience when you are able to travel and play different places. Like, say Europe, it's a different game. There's Olympic ice. There's bigger space.
More skating, right?
Better skating. Guys that can transition and mohawk. Guys that have possession, it's more like soccer. They regroup with the goalie. They play one-on-one all over the ice, 5-on-5. So it's like, it's good to get that experience. That's why I love to play roller, because that's 4-on-4, no offsides, no icing. You have more touches. Like, I just love studying the game and playing as many styles as I can. I don't like ball hockey because I don't like running. So I love to skate. So roller and ice it is.
So then now going to your, like you talked a little bit about your playing style. What was your role that you always saw yourself? Like, what was like, what made you unique and special as a player? As you know, because you're not a big guy, you're not a small guy. What was like your bread and butter that you always stuck to as?
Yeah, just a scoring knack.
Yeah,
a knack for scoring. You know, a natural born scorer. You know,
there you go.
I love to score goals. That's why I play the game. I love all aspects of the game, but scoring a goal, there's no other feeling. Winning is amazing. Like scoring and being a part of it, there's no other feeling, you know? And growing up, just shooting thousands of pucks, and that's the same stuff I do to this day. So if I can bring anything to a team, it's finishing, it's shooting, it's having that confidence to know when to shoot, when to pass, and how to produce.
Yeah. And then now also, you know, you and I were also not big guys, right? What would you say your advice to be? What's your advice to smaller players?
Practice your skills so that they're automatic. You have your head up at all times. You're coming through the middle, your head's up. You're ready to turn back. You're ready to delay. You're ready to be deceptive with your shoulders, with your head. But if you have your head down and you're a smaller player, you know, you're not going to have much luck coming through the middle. And other than that, stay on the inside if you can. If you're on the perimeter, you're not going to have too much success. If you go to the net with your stick on the ice, ready to get greasy, ready for wraparounds, ready for second opportunities, rebounds, tips, deflections, you're going to have 10 to 15 more goals a season. Mm-hmm. Just getting to those hard areas, those hard-nosed areas. So staying to the perimeter, that's one thing. If you have a laser shot from the outside and there's traffic, like shooting on a goalie without traffic in today's age, it's hard. It's hard to produce. It's hard to...
Yeah, pads are big, right?
Yeah, it's hard to block. So you have to get goalies moving from side to side. You can bank it off the pad. You can throw pucks in the net. You can bounce off your butt, off your skate. And those are going to be those... And you have to make your own opportunities by having that confidence, building that confidence in the gym, building that confidence in practice, and not being afraid to get to the blue paint, to get to the net front and battle. And you're going to pay a price, but the ultimate price is your goals are going to go up.
So just don't be afraid to get in there, get greasy, you know, get in the paint, right? As a small guy, you know, play big, right? Play bigger, play with some grit. That's what, you know, you recommend, huh?
Yeah, it's easier said than done, and you're gonna take some licks. Like it's not easy. Mm-hmm. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah. There's a reason guys stay on the outside. Coaches and scouts do not want to see guys stay on the outside. You have to find a way. You have to find a lane.
Like body position too, right?
Yeah.
Position yourself, right?
Leaning into it, sticking your leg out, sticking your knee out, your shoulder, protect it, using your other hand. Look at McDavid, how he spins off of people. He uses that opposite hand for protection. He moves his feet out of the turn. Mm-hmm. You know, being deceptive, having his head up at all times, and knowing the next play before it happens, right? You have to know option 1, 2, and 3. That only comes from practice, from stick time, from being out there, touches on the ice, touches on the roller, stick handling in the garage. Like that's all extra work that will translate into games. That's what we're working on. Skills that translate. Realistic game-like situations with your head up. If you have your head down, it's pointless. So if a coach is working you, or you're a coach and your players your head down, like you got to start the drill over. Like, no, let's get your head up as much as you can. Like it's hard, but let's work on it. Let's build good habits. Let's break bad habits and let's curtail it into good habits where it's like, now I'm a small player. I got my head up at all times. My chest is up, my back straight, my butt down, and I'm scanning the ice from left to right.
Like just constantly just looking.
Using my peripherals, knowing my next play, reading the play before it happens.
What are some other things I know? Because you're now, you know, been a coach for 15 years now and you scouted. What are some other like really key things you would say as like a coach or scout that now you look for in players? Because I'm sure, you know, just like that, I'm sure there are other attributes that you look for. What are some other, like maybe 2 or 3 other things you recommend players do? What if they're going to a showcase, you know, going to camps? What would you say?
They're in different scenarios. It calls for different things. If it's a showcase, if it's a tryout, you got to hold on to the puck more. You got to be selfish. 2-on-1s, you got to fake the pass and shoot. That's just, you got to showcase yourself. In games where a lot of scouts watch, live barn, in person, it's the little things. It's the details. It's hard work. It's second and third attempts on the puck. It's stopping on a dime and battling for that puck that you missed. And it's your body language. It's how you react after a turnover. Mistakes are going to happen in a game. Like, hockey is a game of mistakes. It's how you react and recover to those mistakes. Reloading through the middle, right? Getting pucks out at your blue, getting pucks in at their blue. Not doing weird plays at your blue line. Like, I watch NHL games and I just go crazy. I'm like, I don't know how these coaches like keep it in check, because there's so many turnovers in high risk areas. I'm like, I know these guys are getting paid the big bucks, but if they're just making 5-foot passes, little give and goes up the ice, cross and drop for support. But yeah, it drives scouts crazy if guys go 1-on-1, forcing passes through the skate, through the triangle. But in terms of like your offensive production, having that confidence to shoot, being confident with the puck, making plays, playing good off the puck, playing good defense, all of that is like crucial for scouts.
So I'm sure your perspective on the game though now is sort of shifted a little bit, right? Now you're analyzing it more. You're not so much a player, so now you kind of look for those things now as a coach, right? It's kind of, you would say it's changed a little bit since you've been playing, right?
Yeah, I've said when I turned from player to coach or player coach, I really like, when I was a player, I kind of wanted to take a break from the game when I wasn't playing, just to kind of clear my head. I would watch highlights and like keep track of games, and especially in the league I was playing in, or other players and friends. But now it's like, excuse my cat. Now it's like I'm studying the game. I'm on my phone. I'm on Sling. I'm watching NHL. I'm studying the game so much. I'm like obsessed with it now. In all these different systems, watching YouTube from 1980 Swedish Olympic hockey, just looking at different things, different ideas. And that's just what I like to do.
So yeah, now you're pretty much just like, you would say probably more of a student in the game now. You would say generally more of a student, because I mean for me, I still play, UCLA, right? Like kind of like you said, a lot of times I kind of want to break from it, but I totally get it. As a coach, that's your job now to just study film, because that's your job to look at players and teach them. And I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah,
the whole dynamic, that whole
If I ever got a chance to coach in the big leagues, like I would eat, sleep, and breathe it. I'd love it. I'd be one of those passionate coaches, and I see the 4 coaches in the playoffs, and it's good to see them all having success. And I do study coaches, and even different sports, soccer coaches, basketball coaches, watching basketball, watching lacrosse, team sports where there's puck or ball possession. It all ties in. It's all triangulations. It's all cross and drop, set a pick. It's all regroups. It's defense.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 5-on-5. Put this ball or puck into this net, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at it that way, everyone works together as a team. You might have if you have those 1 or 2 guys, that dynamic duo, that's what teams look for to build now. Like, you see every line has 2, 2, 2. Like, if you can pair up 2 guys and have that complementary winger, like, that is what you can ask for. That's a dream line. So building that, and then working the D into the equation, building from the defense out, from the goalie out, that's how you build championship teams. So I've had a lot of success as a coach with UCLA, 3 championships.
Yeah.
That one season. And ever since then, I felt like Gordon Ramsay, just trying to cook up and concoct any level and any team. I just love it. I just want to polish up the diamonds, and that's why people keep coming back, because I'm passionate and I love what I do.
So going back on coaching, the Hockey Review, this site, it's supposed to teach or inform future players and parents like what a program's like, and for example, the coaching style. What would you say is what would you say players should look out for in terms of coaching, management? How should they be treating their players? Like, what kind of example should they be showing? Like, as in an ideal situation as a coach.
Or do your homework, right? The hockey review is perfect. Do your homework. Look up the town. Look up the city. Look up the history of the team. If it's a new team, look up the ownership. There's a lot of fugazis out there just trying to build, teams for their own reasons, not really the right reasons for the players. So look for an organization that's professional, that is respectful, respects you, respects your family, respects your agent, and that is trustworthy. A lot of teams will promise you the world and they will not deliver. So it's hard. Sometimes it's a gamble, but don't rush anything. Don't jump into junior. Don't rush your development. Find a prep school, find an academy, stay local if you need, just work on your game, because hockey is not going anywhere. It's just getting better and better. So it's kind of unfortunate that junior ends at 21, but that's where we're at. And if you're 11, 12, 13, it's not too late. You can play catch up. You can play high school. There's so many avenues.
Yeah.
Really, it used to be like you have to start at 3 years old, 5 years old. That is a plus, but if you're playing catch up, there's a lot of different avenues and developmental, techniques that you can use.
That's probably the most important thing in any hockey player's career, I think. I'm sure you agree too, to take your time to emphasize development over a name or a title, right?
Yeah, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has a different path. There's no carved path. Obviously, it would be amazing to make major junior A tier 1, tier 2. But if you have to go down a different road, there are a lot of avenues where you can work your way. And hockey is just amazing as a community. You're meeting different people, you're networking, positive families, great coaches. So just be mindful of who you surround yourself with. And hockey is it's a great sport in general,
There's so many ways to give back now to the community. I mean, I know what you're doing a lot of now, and I love that. And so could you tell me some more projects you're working on maybe now that are in the works, like that you have going?
Yeah, no, there's a few teams in the works, few leagues. There's a junior college league that we're trying to start up. There's a senior A team. There's a few junior A programs and academies that I'm working with. But the main goal is just to develop the sport here, provide different options for players, and provide a good, positive learning environment. Show them the right way, be a good role model on and off the ice.
Yeah, I think that's, again, promoting a positive environment. That's what the hockey is all about. I think, if more teams they really put their players first, that's all you can ask for. If they prioritize their development, creating a positive environment for them, that's all you can really ask for in a program, I think, and at any level from, AAA to junior. That's what probably is the most important. I think just creating that, just positive, making kids want to show up to the rink, making kids want to show up, be happy, play, have fun, because it's at the end of the day, hockey's a game. It should be fun, right? I mean,
yeah, no, my family's always been asking me, like, my whole career, are you still having fun? Are you still having fun? I'm like, yeah, I do. I do enjoy it. There's never been a day where I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to the rink. Like, never, so that's a good feeling to enjoy what you do. And that's what I kind of bring to the table. And I always tell my players, like, passion is the number one ingredient. If you have passion, you have a work ethic, you have a good attitude, like, I can work with that. Regardless of your skill level, your size, it doesn't matter. Like, if you love the game, we'll polish you up. Whether it's roller, it's ice. We would love to get players into both avenues and working with them, like, on and off the ice in school, and creating a rapport with their families, kind of like doing whatever we need consultation wise. So it's been a great 15 years, and we've built something really, really special, and I'm happy to keep it going.
So I also heard now you're running this camp in the Czech Republic, right?
Yeah.
Got a new little trip planned out, right?
Yep. End of July. I'm going to be head coaching Radko Gudis's camp, his youth camp. There's 60 players in Czech Republic. I'll have a translator, but most of the players speak English.
That's funny, yeah.
So hockey is a universal language, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great experience.
And then now you have that trip, and now you have this new team. It's a roller team, right? The Mallards?
It's roller and ice.
Oh, roller and ice.
Yes.
Okay. I see. Promoting.
It's called the Orange County Mallards. It's a team, Senior A. So Senior A is probably you're going to play for us. You know, it's
Will I?
after college,
Maybe.
after Junior A. It's former pros. It's pretty much 21 to 35.
I see, okay.
Good players, good talent. This team, what's special about this team is that this team's going to advocate mental health and wellness, which is a huge thing for me. A lot of my teammates, they go through things, and unfortunately, I've had teammates passed due to issues with mental health, and it's sad that a lot of men and women, but a lot of men and athletes, they have to keep their emotions inside, and they don't have anywhere to express their feelings and their thoughts. And it's nice to know that these guys that are on my team and whoever else involved, they have a safe space to really take care of their mental health.
Mental health. I mean, definitely not talked about enough. There are players, right, and higher levels. Really, there's a lot of pressure on them. And I think it's important, like you say, to just prioritize that. Take some time off if you need. Do something away from the rink, a hobby or something, just to take your mind off things. Just keep yourself productive, right?
Yep.
And just those are things that players, while they're in the career, should be doing, right?
Right. No, hockey is a special sport. It shouldn't be an outlet for violence. That's unnecessary, right? We can police the game in the right way, but to take your anger out on somebody else, it's not okay in this day and age. It shouldn't ever be okay. And a lot of people will bottle stuff in and let it fester, and then it comes out in the wrong way. And we just want to create a safe space, through yoga, through hockey, through community, for mental health.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Tyler. This is the Hockey Review podcast. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.